AITA for excluding my nephew from my son's birthday party? My brother, his wife and 5-year-old son, nephew, been living at my parents' house since 2019 because of financial issues. My nephew's spoiled. He misbehaves and gets away with everything. Throws epic temper tantrums if things don't go his way. I have 8-year-old son, and every year when his birthday party's over and everyone get ready to go home, my nephew'd collect the gifts my son received and throw a tantrum till we let him go home with them. My sill'd spend an hour complaining about their financial situation and try to convince me to let my nephew keep all the gifts cause he saw them. I tried to hide them in another room, but my nephew got access. I suggested making a list of the toys my son received so my brother and Sil would buy similar stuff for my nephew, but they'd end up leaving with them. My son'd feel devastated and sad afterwards. Not just that, but in a matter of a week we'd visit my parents' house and see most of the toys destroyed. This year, as my son's 9th birthday rolled around, my husband straightforward said, "Listen, I don't want what happened in the past couple of years to happen again. It's time we put an end to your brother and his wife's enablement. Your nephew shouldn't be invited if you don't want issues at the party. I'm just letting you know if they bring him anyway, I'm taking the party over to my parents' house, 3 hours away." So I called my brother and let him know that he either leave his son at home and attend my son's birthday with his wife or not attend if he didn't want to. He hung up, then called again in few minutes and was livid, asking if I was serious about what I said about excluding his son from his cousin's birthday, and I said the reason for that is because of my nephew's misbehavior. He laughed, saying, "What misbehavior? He's a kid, for Christ's sake. Go ahead and name one kid who doesn't misbehave." Quote, I said that what his son does, which is taking my son's birthday gifts, then crying and yelling his way into leaving with them, was not fair cause those gifts were given to him and he shouldn't be guilted into giving them away on his birthday. My brother started talking about his struggle to buy his kid new toys and said him and I should encourage the kids to share. I said no, cause everyone deserves to receive gifts and not be expected to share or give them away. I said he and his wife are welcome to attend, but my nephew isn't. He first begged and promised he won't let his son touch anything, but then got angry and said he was appalled, completely appalled by my coldness and cruelty to exclude my nephew like that. He said his son understands what's going on, and once he tells him his aunt excluded him from his cousin's birthday party, I shouldn't act surprised, cause neither he or his son will forget how I treated them, then hung up. Mom roasted me about my decision, saying I'm causing emotional damage over few gifts. She and Dad wanted me to apologize and invite my brother's family. I can't believe all these adults ever allowed this to happen once, let alone for years. Your poor son. Birthday ruined year after year. And all the adults just let it happen. Leaning almost towards YTA because you let this happen multiple times? Everyone leaves his party, and he's left with no gifts? What the actual fuck? Your son is going to be explaining this in therapy. How on any planet did you or your family think that was okay? You should have disinvited the whole family. Good for your freaking husband for standing up for your son. Someone needs to. You should also apologize to your son for letting this go on and promise him that he will get to keep his gifts. I'm sorry. You've allowed them to just take your son's presents in the past? What the hell? How can you let your son down so badly? You should have stopped them, threatened to call the police, and followed through if they still took them. Also, you shouldn't have invited your brother and wife to come without their son. I fully understand not inviting the son, but at that point you just disinvite them all. Did you really think they were gonna leave their kid with a sitter while going to a kid's party he wasn't invited to? Your brother and his wife suck. I feel deeply sorry for their son because they are doing him a great disservice. And they shouldn't be stealing from you. Your parents suck for enabling their behavior and expecting you to suck it up. You suck because in past years you did just suck it up. And you, and your husband, allowed your son to suffer. Esh. Your brother and Sil for letting their child take whatever he wants. And you and your husband for giving into his tantrums and letting him take home all of your child's gifts in years past. My nephew'd collect the gifts my son received and throw a tantrum till we let him go home with them. Your brother, Sil and nephew for the obvious reasons. And you and your husband for continuing to allow this to happen and showing that you don't care about your son. You should have stopped this the first year it happened. You were also kind of to the people that bought gifts specifically for your son and they end up taken and destroyed by a little demon. They bought the gifts for your son, not his cousin. Wait, so I hope you didn't actually give your son's toys away. In a way your brother is right about kids misbehaving. So that makes all the adults hear the awe. Kids will act like kids. Your brother and his wife are awes for enabling their kid. But so are you. You're responsible to look out for your son's best interest. And by letting someone take his presents home you failed. YTA for ever allowing this to happen to your son on his birthday. Sorry, but YTA for every allowing the kid out the door with even one gift years ago. You talk about stopping the enablement when you are just as much a part of it. This should never ever have happened. Your poor son. What an epic parenting fail. Definitely do not invite him to the party. I am actually horrified you invited the other two after how they treated your son. Shame on all of you. You should have disinvited all three straight away. Because it's the parents' fault for not disciplining the little demon. Dangling an invitation for the parents only was a surefire way to get drama. You should go with your husband's idea. He seems to have custody of the family brain cell. It took this long to not want to invite him over? You let him take gifts from your son for years? I'm disappointed in everyone but your son. Someone, anyone, should have stopped your nephew from leaving with those gifts. Hopefully your husband keeps up his threat and takes the birthday party 3 hours away because he seems to be the one here concerned the most about your son. Why the hell would you let this kid get away with this even once, and continue to invite him to parties? Good for your husband for finally putting his foot down and stopping the abuse of your son. Don't invite the parents either. Birthday parties are only for people willing to put the birthday person first on that one day. You are both your brother for not correcting his son's behavior and thinking it's okay for his kid to take your kid's birthday gifts because he can't afford to buy him stuff. He totally disregarded how your child feels. And you are for letting him treat your kid like that. Who cares if his kid is crying 'cause he wants your kid stuff? Oh well. It's not his and he has no right to it. You enabled him also by giving in. I'm surprised your kid even wants a birthday party after facing the disappointment of opening presents he was given that he wanted and then not getting to keep them. He probably feels like his cousin is more important than him since all his cousin has to do to get your son's birthday gifts is cry about it. Who cares how it makes your son feel as long as your nephew isn't crying, right? YTA for letting him take the presents home the year before. This should have stopped the first time it happened. The nephew's parents are enablers and you enabled them too for letting them take your son's gifts. All three of them should not come to the party. Please. Do not let this happen again. Your son doesn't deserve it. Accept your son that is a victim of this family. Who allows their child's birthday gifts to be stolen from them right in front of their eyes? BC some other kid had a cry about it. Who lets other parents convince them that's okay? A 5 years having a tantrum is still small enough to pick up and put in the car seat when it's time to go. End of story. Uncle and aunt are off for not saying no to their child. And so are off for not setting boundaries and sticking up for their child. Your child will learn, Mom and Dad don't have my back. That's not just an "oh the situation sucks boo-hoo" problem. That's an "oh Mom and Dad actively did nothing to stand up for me as a child" problem. Protect your child. YTA for subjecting your son to this abuse every year. Other than your son and your husband. Your brother taking your son's gifts to placate his tantruming child should never have been allowed. Yet it took an ultimatum from your husband to get you to put a stop to it. Do not invite your brother and his wife. Don't even tell them about the party if they're just going to tell their kid about it to trigger another tantrum. The kid is not the problem. His parents are. They're enablers and the ones who tolerate his behavior. By still inviting them and not the kid, you're not changing anything. All three should have been barred. Bad decision and rationale on your part for singling out a 5 or 6-year-old. YTA for ever letting him take your child's toys once, let alone multiple times.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. AmITheAsshole is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.